Hi everybody. Okay, I promised a more uplifting video and hopefully this will turn into one, or at the very least I will endeavor to keep it lighter, and that is until we get to talk about Meghan's The Cut interview tomorrow. Okay, after the train crash of a first podcast where Meghan Ragland, yes, I'm going to honor Tom Jr.'s wish and no longer call her Meghan Markle. Anyway, so after Meghan Ragland's podcast and her again lying and putting herself on the forefront and so on, the backlash and bad media, and of course, because of all of this, we can expect some glowing fluff pieces, and it is indeed coming thick and fast. From amid scabies Twitter post to Delphina Nutcher's wife waxing lyrical about Olmexi, to a Vogue fashion writer talking about Meghan's style revolution, and so on and so on. Well, firstly, I did my due diligence and corrected the Vogue writer's narrative, as you can see on the screen. What irritates me most is that these journalists and writers are blowing hot air and not talking the truth. Yes, indeed, Meghan Ragland had the odd success here and there with an outfit. I have to admit that. But in general, her mistakes are plentiful. Meghan does not have a single clue how to dress for her body type, and that is her number one mistake. Although she does not have the mile-long legs she thinks she has, her legs are longer than her body. Her body is actually quite short and stocky, with no defined middle or waist. Although not very shapely, Meghan can and does make her legs appear more toned and shapely with heels. In order to make herself look more shapely and create the illusion of a waist, the first thing she should do is to get rid of those coats, jackets, and dresses with a tie belt. All those shapeless long coats and dresses, and replace them with bomber jackets, tailored coats, and blazers. Meghan does not have very shapely breasts with a well-defined cleavage, except, of course, when she was on Deal or No Deal and they likely taped her breasts to show more cleavage. However, she's now also older, so the very first thing she needs to do before she buys a new outfit is to get someone to fit her for new bras. It is not anything to be embarrassed about. Throughout my life, I had been struggling to find the right bra, and on the odd occasion that I did, I wore them to pieces. It is obvious to anyone with eyes in their head that Meghan does not pay attention to her underwear or understand the importance of it, and nor does she understand what a difference proper underwear can make to an outfit. We have often seen Meghan with bra lines and straps showing. We have also seen panty lines and so forth. Now, whether we like to admit it or not, those are the small things which can destroy any designer outfit. Usually, the rule is that if you are wearing a loose fitting top, that you should stick to tighter or narrower pants, and vice versa. However, because of Meghan's shape, smaller breasts, and longer legs, she can get away with looser fitting pants and tops with a belt to create the illusion of having a defined waist. The outfit she wore for her podcast was actually ideal for her figure, if only she did something with those loose flaps. I am not a fan of pussy bows, but she could have tied it loosely or opted for a similar blouse without the bow. Camel color, browns, and dark beiges does absolutely nothing for her because of her skin color. And here is some news for her. She does not look good in white either. Meghan looks good in red and pink and yellow and black, certain greens and even lighter blues. Shades of brown, dark blue, and camel actually looks really, really bad on her. Another thing someone should tell her is that style and looks depends on an overall and complete picture. Prior to Harry, Meghan sported shorter hair, sometimes reddish hair, a side path, and a variety of different styles. Since Harry, though, she seems to stick to the Yoko Ono look with a middle path with these long, ultra long tresses hanging from both sides of her face, regardless of all the cosmetic treatment she had. This style no longer suits her and actually drags her face down. The tight, slick ponytail is way too severe for her face, and the messy bun is just that, messy. As we grow older, the professional advice is to go a shade or two lighter, and I would recommend this for Meghan as well. I think a medium to dark brown with reddish highlights would make her look younger and much less like Drusilla and Yoko Ono. A longer Chinese bob or shoulder length bob will do a lot to lift her face and look a lot more spunky. Megan also needs makeup advice, and the very first thing she should write in her diary is to never, ever again allow that crying makeup artist to do her makeup. I can honestly say that the times she looked her absolute worst as far as makeup is concerned were times that he did her makeup. For the evening, she can look good with a smoky eye as long as it's not too dark. She needs to learn how to highlight her cheekbones, as it will give a little more definition to her face. One of her best features is actually her mouth. That is, when it's shut. And she can or should accentuate her mouth with a little color. During daytime, she should be well advised to use a lighter or colored eyeliner on her bottom lid instead of black. In her case, I would advise her to stick to black eyeliner for evenings only. Black eyeliner does not help make eyes look larger, and that's just the tip for everybody. Now, talking about jewelry, this one is actually a no-brainer, but something no one ever told Megan. As we grow older and gain age and sunspots and a few wrinkles, the advice is always to go bigger, a little bigger or a lot bigger, depending on your build and stature. In Megan's case, she has always had freckles. So, except for her early and teenage years, those fine chains and teenage style jewelry never looked good on her. It actually disappears on her. We know she had her engagement ring changed. Well, if I was to advise her, I would have told her to widen the band instead of adding all those extra small diamonds or diamond chips. I would also advise her to perhaps experiment with white gold or platinum instead of yellow gold, which actually just blends in with her skin. Another idea for necklaces would be colored stones like rubies, etc., instead of diamonds. Yes, diamonds may be a girl's best friend if you intend to sell them one day, but if you want to look good, it may not always be the case, and particularly not if you have an olive skin and freckles. Okay, so you may ask, what qualifies me to make these remarks? Well, I designed and made dresses for an extra income for many, many years, and most of my clients were happy with my work. The few who weren't of which there were very, very few, were usually not happy with the outcome because they insisted on something which did not suit them. And subsequently, it was not the quality of the work they were unhappy with, but their disappointment in how they looked in the garment that they were actually unhappy with. Now, for a change, I'm not being nasty to Meghan. Catherine actually knows her body type well, and therefore 99% of the time, Catherine looks good in whatever she wears. Catherine also knows how to make the most out of her luxurious hair, but a makeup fundy she is not. And I honestly think that with a little help in the makeup department, Catherine can look even more stunning. So, no, for a change, I'm looking objectively, and the little knowledge I have comes from a friend I had in my younger days who was indeed a makeup artist. As a matter of fact, she was British but studied in America, and she absolutely knew how to turn an ugly duckling into a fairy princess. In my 20s and 30s, I also made a few turns in local magazines featuring in articles on makeovers, makeup, etc. And to prove that, here is a photograph from the last photo shoot I did for Women's Value when I was about 39. So, yes, I am no expert, not like my friend, but I have picked up the basics along the way, something Meghan has not done yet at 41. And with a little effort and an open mind, perhaps listening and learning, she can do so much better. And that, my dears, as time is short today, that is all I have to say for now. Next time, we shall indeed talk about that, the cut interview. By then, more information will be available on the second episode of her podcast, and we'll talk about that as well. And then hopefully after that, we'll get a little break and I can continue my deep dives on Meghan's friends and boyfriend. Now, that is, of course, unless something eye watering happens between today and tomorrow. So, until then, please take good care of yourself. Bye.